We're now joined by the mayor of Ashland, Steve Gilmore. Good morning.
Well, I'm a tough act to follow, Ann Perkins.
That's a great organization.
Lifelong friend of mine. She's the best, and you name it, and she'll get it done. And yes, she does a wonderful job out there.
Well, I want to talk about a couple of things, so let's get right to it. We want to talk about what's going on downtown in a minute, but let's get right to the tourism thing, because that's been in the papers.
Wow, why'd you hook onto that?
I don't know. It just seems to be the top thing. Boyd County has decided that they're going to have their own tourism and convention commission, whereas in the past it has been a joint thing between the county and the city. And I guess the real confusion is did you guys in the city know that this was going to happen? Had you heard something, or was you trying to work it out? What? Just give us the. I'm going right to the horse's mouth.
You know me. Well, actually, Judge Cheney and I really developed a good friendship, and trying to work together cooperatively for all Boyd Countyans. 22,000 Boyd Countyans are right here in the city, and I've worked with a number of county judge executives, and we and they pretty much felt the same way. We're all Boyd Counties. Let's try to do things that are economically, tax wise, every other way efficient,
right?
For all of our taxpayers throughout the county. And truthfully, the Tourism Visitors Bureau, I mean, that is one of the purest ways that the county and the city had been cooperating for 25 years, I guess, maybe a little less than that. But anyway, it's a way to every day is a joint, cooperative action to bring people into our city and our county. Hopefully, they'll bring more friends to come in and spend money in our stores and restaurants and maybe even decide, it looks like a great place to live, and maybe even move here. Who knows? But anyway. When Judge Cheney came in, probably a month or so after he got elected, he called and asked me to come in and see me, and he came in, and we were talking about tourism, and he was talking about unity and cooperation and everything, and he had concerns about, now I don't know if he had them a long time before he ran for judge or whatever, but he had concerns, which is very valid. That's fine. And I said, well, we looked into and did kind of research, and we found that we did have a number of board members that were on the board, good people. In fact, I didn't even know some of them, but they're representative restaurant, hotels, and at-large picks and all that. The mayor gets to pick, the judge gets to pick, and then the rest of them are kind of randomly selected from organizations. Unfortunately, we do not have a hotel association. We do not have a restaurant association, which is all you need to do is contact them and tell them that we need representatives. We don't have those. I wish they would form more of a group, but basically you just kind of hunt and peck with the various hotels, restaurants, so forth. Well, anyway, that being said, we started looking at that, and several had terms that expired, not been reappointed at the right times, and so forth. So it basically was not a constituted board setting. Nothing personal. I didn't even know some of them. It wasn't nothing about them. But I informed Ms. Dowdy that we needed to appoint a new board, and she understood. I had got the bylaws from her and everything to find out how it all worked. So we proceeded to try to work on getting a new board in. And I had asked that he felt like he had support to do it, on his fiscal court, which I think he found out later, he didn't. But that being said, we worked for several months, almost 6 months, I want to tell you, off and on. We met Catonsburg. I took my economic development director, my city manager, my attorney, go up and meet with their counterparts, sit down, let's make this work, and so forth. As far as I knew, for 5 months, we were going to do a cooperative effort once we got all of the board members seated and let them run this, whatever it took to move us into the future. And actually, in a matter of two weeks or so, the judge called me and said, "Look, I don't have the support I thought I had." So I said, "Well, I'll be glad to talk to whomever or whatever." But anyway, not getting into all the mechanics of the city trying to save this as a joint venture, because it's one of the few things we it's automatically we work together on this. Now, comments have been made that they're not happy with maybe what they're getting for the way it's set up. Obviously, they were putting in almost 2/3 of the money, and but I felt like I asked for 6 months, maybe 12, but I'll ask for 6 months with a new board, and let's see what happens. Because the judge and I were on the same page on what we needed to do, how we should move this forward, and but then we didn't have support. So my position is this: they'll do fine, and they'll have plenty of money to do fine. We'll do fine. We'll have less money. That's okay. We'll be fine in Ashland. They'll be fine. I do not, as you read in the paper, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but it's done. They gave their first reading. They'll give a second reading or next month, but as far as I'm concerned, it's done.
So what will it do? I guess the question that I have, and probably most people have, what does it do then? They'll do fine because most of the hotels are in the county. I mean, they're going to get most of the revenue anyway,
That's
so
correct.
they'll do fine. What does it do to tourism in Ashland's budget? And because less money is going to be coming in.
Sure.
Of course,
well,
you also, all that money was coming in, and you were helping try to do things in Boyd County too, which you don't have to do anymore with the money that's coming into Ashland.
Yeah.
But,
well, let me say a couple things about. You're exactly right. And of course, we have been working. Our portion has been based on the fact our hotel has been defunct.
Right.
So it's going to take a while now to see what our new hotel will actually bring in. But our portion is around $66,000 a year coming in, and that doesn't even pay the salaries down there. So obviously, and I've been staying as close touch as I can with Sue Dowdy, and letting her know that there's going to be some financial changes over there with staffing and how much the staff makes. We're nowhere near a working number to then do tourism activities, and get Ashland's name out there. More and more things happening, and obviously with the new hotel is going to make us a stop for a lot of people, whether they're stopping in the immediate area or they're on their way somewhere. Now they're going to have a great Delta Marriott to stay in. I might add something. I talked to Jimmy Nizzo yesterday, one of the owners. He told me that I think there's 61 Delta Marriotts right now active in the United States. Their restaurant for this month is the #1 producing restaurant in the whole chain.
Great.
Now, isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Now I've been 3 times.
Oh, it's fabulous.
And I don't know at this point, and I don't even know if they're releasing these figures yet, but I'm sure Chris Pullum will get them, and I leave it to the hotel to do that. I don't know about the number of people spending the night or how many nights and so forth, but I think it's picked up as each week went by, and I think for a while when they first opened, they weren't even on internet reservations, which is what everybody does anyway.
Yeah.
But I believe that the 3 nights I've been there, I'm not going to tell you I knew everybody in there, but I saw a whole lot of just Ashland people in there, and it is outstanding dining, it's outstanding atmosphere and all that.
Yep.
So our hotel, we think, will pick up a lot of slack. Now, will it pick up the difference? No, I doubt that, but that's okay. You do with what you learn to do with what you have, and the toughest thing is going to be when this board, I have to appoint a board now with the approval of my commission, and they're going to have to do more with less. But the good thing about it is, whoever I appoint, they're all new, and this is how.
Yeah, they don't know any different.
They don't know any different.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they will make things happen.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen. I think it'll take off and we'll do great. I think the county will take off and do great, and I wish them the best. And we will continue to support things that they do out there. We'll continue to talk about and list things they're having in the county because we're Boyd Countyans. And I hope they do the same thing for Ashland. I'm not asking them anything, but
absolutely.
We're all Boyd Counties. We ought to work together. And I just want to emphasize that the judge and I are friends, and we'll continue to work together every way we can. This was just a real solid way to do that. We didn't have his fiscal court support.
Okay, let's talk about some things going on downtown because they're
Sure.
still removing trees with some of the streetscape stuff that's going on. And the building across the way, the old Pendleton building, they're working on it nonstop, it seems like. And we can't release anything on what's going on over there.
Well,
can we?
I would if Dr. Jeviden told me I could, but he hadn't told me I couldn't either. But,
Right.
a couple of your staff members asked me the same thing. Mayor, what's going in there? Well, I can tell you this. He does want to keep an artist feel over there, and part of that. Now, it may have changed. I talked to him on the phone a couple of days ago, but not about his business here. But I know he's been working very, very diligently over the last couple of years with a number of franchise restaurants and so forth. Not that he won't put a mom and pop in there, because I'm sure he would, but he's talked to various ones that you and I would love to see a smaller version of it right here on Main Street, because obviously it's going to be more of a walk-in place.
Yeah.
But with the hotel here, it's going to, I think everything's fitting together. And if you notice, we kind of redone 15th Street, and part of that was with some funds from TIF as well as with some city concrete funds, because some of those areas need it, but it's absolutely one of the beautiful little side streets in Ashland now, and we intend to make them all look that way.
Great.
And we're going to head on up Winchester, including across from you there, through the post office building, for sure, through that corner, to beautify that with new concrete, because it's not in good condition, and I'm worried about the safety factor in particular. But we'll make it as aesthetically pleasing as we possibly can. But of course, on the riverfront, this is Wednesday, so Monday they began bringing all the equipment in to drill. They started drilling yesterday, so they're drilling these 50-foot holes, to put pylons down in to hold the parapets that the statues are going to sit on. So that, I will tell you this, that we were hoping for a late September, early October unveiling, but it's probably going to be a little later than that, into November, because this is a monumental, that's play on words. Truthfully, it's a monumental undertaking. It's huge. Just the foundations to hold these. And I've been up and had some pictures with them and all that in their barest form right now. But we are getting contacts all over the country about them already. And speaking of tourism board, they're going to get a little caveat there right off the bat of something to put out there and to draw people in. And I'm hoping we can develop a stronger artist contingency here and maybe get some artists move into our area, because, when you see a community go into something like this, and of course it's a gift, not very many communities can afford to go into something like this, but we're getting it. And I'm hoping it will spur a lot of artists to want to come in, and even artists with sculpting abilities.
Okay. The building right here on the corner, right across from Fat Patties here.
Uh-huh.
A lot of work going on there too. What's all that about?
Okay.
Or do you know, or can you tell us?
Well, I'll tell you what I know. I will always tell you what I know if then the people developing it say, that's okay. I don't know the developer. I know who it is, and it's actually a doctor. I think it's actually moved away from here now, but he's done this in a couple places, Cincinnati here. But that's sat there for a long time. We were all pretty upset about how long it was taking to do anything. My understanding now, there's going to be a major restaurant on the lower level.
Okay.
Beautiful, big-time restaurant there, and this is what I've been told. And they're going to be, for the most part, above that are going to be condominiums, high-scale condominiums.
Great.
And
that's the trend nowadays.
that's the trend.
Yeah.
And, like Paul Castle has started the trend in Ashland early on, and every once in a while you'll see a picture, a week or so ago, a picture of one of them that I think he sold, and oh my gosh, you feel like you're in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
I know they do. I think that's a trend all over the country, and more people, not just millennials, but it's people that don't want to cut grass anymore, don't want to have to take care of property, don't want to take care of a big house, the nest is empty and all that. They come downtown where they're close to food, doctors, insurance, banks, etc. And the more we beautify the downtown, the more that's going to be a draw for us.
Absolutely.
And that being said, we will probably in September put out for bids for our 16th Street park. That we will not begin till after Pogue Landing anyway.
Right.
So I've asked to get the bids out there, and we want to get that rolling.
Great.
And that's going to be the focal point of downtown Ashland is going to be
absolutely.
that park.
That's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we're running out of time, but anything else? One quick thing. What about everything going with water and sewer projects and stuff like that?
Yeah, we are
because I know there's a lot being done.
There's a whole lot being done now, and the newspaper is going to be doing an article, major series, I think, on our water plant. They're visiting, seeing all the ins and out of it's a big deal, and then we're gonna redo our sewer treatment plant over the next 3 or 4 years. Okay, big deal. And they'll touch on that some, but they're seeing the work right now on our water plant. We do have our program in place where we're starting our replacement program, and one of the major facets is that we're that water plant, the filtration system is going to be state of the art, the best there is, and we're close to that right now. I feel really good about what we're getting done.
Oh, that's great. Anything else that I hadn't asked you about that you want to touch on?
No, but I love to have this great radio station right in the middle of my downtown.
Well, thank you very much. We love being here and being able to look outside and see everything.
And you're watching it happen right before your eyes.
Happen. It's pretty neat.
And to all the owners and my very dear friend, the counselor, who's one of the main ones that I think the world of, I'm proud that they're here.
Well, thank you very much,
Mayor.
You're
here.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
buddy.
We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Got it.
That's the mayor of Ashland, Steve Gilmore, our guest every couple of weeks on Wednesday right here on The Breakfast Club.